Hey guys, Nick here. So today we'll be looking at the 2024 Foreman Rubicon. This one right here has the power steering on it with the foot shift, but we're going to talk about all the Rubicon models. As well, I'm going to walk around and show you the different features on this, where everything's going to be located. And finally, I'm going to ride the Rubicon, and you're going to see my experience of what it's like riding the Rubicon and if this is the right fit for you. So with all that being said, let's get started. So before we get started talking about the Rubicon models, I want to briefly mention and thank JAF Motors for lending me this today, as it just came in this morning and gotten created and built just in order for me to film it today to get this video out to you guys this Sunday morning. All their info will be left down below, as well you'll see it pop up on the screen. They're a full Honda and Yamaha dealership. If you're looking to pick up one of these Rubicons or any of Honda's models or even a Yamaha product, you will find their info down below. So be sure to check them out. So let's talk about the Rubicon model and platform and what that offers to us. Well, in the Rubicon, the big feature about this is that independent rear suspension, which is the step up from the Foreman model. Everything else here basically is a carryover from the Foreman. You got the third headlight, you get a 518cc liquid cooled, fuel injected, single cylinder engine, paired up to a 5-speed transmission. You have a electronic 2-wheel and 4-wheel drive button. As well, you have a slide-on diff lock. As well, depending which Rubicon model you get, you also have a selectable low range built in. This one right here with the power steering, though, unfortunately does not give you that option. So talking about the different Rubicon models, the cheapest one is the automatic one, which gives you a push button shift on the handlebar that you can either manually or automatically have it shift for you by just selecting if it's an automatic or manual mode, which is on the handlebar. Fortunately, I can't demonstrate and show you that today because this one is a foot shift one. Now, next on the list, past the automatic model, which is a pretty favorite model, this is the second one on the list of the 4 models. This one has the power steering, but it has a foot shift on it. This one's extremely popular down south in the US here, or even out west, because many people that are going to sink these in mud holes don't like to have the ES for different reasons on their own, and they prefer the foot shift. Some people find it's more bulletproof. Now, from that, you can pick, well, do you want power steering and a foot shift, or do you want that with the push button shift? That's where we go next. So the next one is the automatic with the power steering, which gives you basically all the options and features that you would want, which gives you the full automatic or push button shift. And on top of that, it gives you the power steering. So from this, then there's one step up for a little more money, and that is the Deluxe. So what's different on the Deluxe model? Well, the Deluxe gives you a fancier paint job, which is a better quality plastic finish and paint. It's not going to scuff, mark. On top of that, you get an aluminum wheel. So now let's actually get up and close and show you where everything's located on this and walk around it. So let's get started. So moving on to the side of the machine, a couple things you are going to notice. Right there is your gas cap. You got a foot brake, which goes to your rear. On your handlebar on the right side, you have a front brake, and on the left side you have another rear brake. Now let's actually move back up front and talk about those different compartments up there. So moving on up to the front of the machine, right here is your access to the top of your radiator, and you have a coolant reservoir on the right side. That's how you fill that right there. As well, right here is a little nice storage compartment for any kind of straps you might want to throw in there, or hooks, etc. Now moving on down, something I want to show you right here. We have our coolant reservoir, so you can see our upper and our lower. So right there is right on upper. That's perfect. That's exactly where you want it. Some people like to overflow this. There's no reason to. It really should be kept right here. And up over there, you're going to see our tag telling us that this is a 2024 model. So let's turn our ways this way. We got a nice little compartment over here. Little nice storage compartment, 12-volt cigarette outlet, so you could run a lead and charge your phone from there. Right here is where your shifter would normally be for your drive and your low range. Again, the foot shift model doesn't have that, but the automatic with the power steering model and the Deluxe do. We're coming along towards the back here. We're gonna find, we got a nice little sticker here telling us what model this is. Well, just that it's a Foreman Rubicon and that it's fuel injected. But here's that independent suspension, which is hot on this one. And of course you got a nice little badge on the side telling you that this is an independent rear suspension model. Something else quick I want to add in, you got a little compartment here, opens right up, dipstick right there, you unscrew it, take it out, you're going to clean it off and dip it in, and that's how you check your oil. You don't screw it back in and checking the oil on one of these. And these take a 1030 weight oil. Honda recommends you run, of course, all their OEM products in these because of the clutches and transmission is built in with the motor. That's why Honda recommends you run their oils, because they have special additives in it. But anyways, let's get into that dashboard. So here from the driver's seat, you can see exactly what I would see or what you would see when you go to drive one of these. Let's turn our key on though. You got a secondary backup key, so follow that with your books when you get home, of course. Got a neutral light, a reverse light. You have your four-wheel drive with your diff lock right there light. You have a power steering light, temp light, check engine light, low fuel, per usual. That shows out of 5 bars normally once you actually have gas in them. You have a time, you have an odometer, you have a trip, coolant, which is out of 4 bars, hours. So 100 miles or 20 hours, see that wrench there? The wrench will come on, and that just basically means you are due for your first service. Now over here on the left side, we're gonna see we have our emergency kill, we have our start, we have our on and off of our headlights, we have our high beam and our low beam. Our high beam is what turns on our third headlight on this. We have our push button four-wheel drive light, so you push that in. So let's start it up. And now obviously, the one that a lot of people always ask about too, of course, is that reverse. So you got this little red button, or tab, you're gonna push back. So see how when I pull the brake back, that it's staying? That's exactly what you want. So then I'm gonna shift down, and there's reverse. So I got an orange light, and it's telling me what I'm in. Now when I wanna get out of reverse, I shift back up to neutral, and then I shift up again, and that puts me in the first gear. The nice thing too is this always will tell me out of 5 gears what gear I'm in. If I push my red button in for my four-wheel drive, see it's gonna show right there that's in 4-wheel. And if I want my diff lock, I'm gonna take this knob here and splice that up. And now it's gonna start flashing there that I have 4-wheel drive and diff lock on. Diff lock fully locks up the front end, so there's no limited slip or nothing in the front end. It makes it fully locked, kind of like a tractor, so all 4 wheels are all spinning 100% at the same speed. Normal 4-wheel drive makes it more of an open diff. It's a very limited slip up there though. So really for anything you might need, 4-wheel drive is going to do the trick in the snow or mud. But if you're in something really heavy and thick or a lot of snow, that diff lock will really come in handy. And of course, just push the button back out and brings it back into 2-wheel drive. The back end on these is always locked. So finally, I'm going to show you under the seat now, and then we're going to ride it. So now I already popped the seat off because that's pretty easy to take off. It's just a tab on the back of it, pops right off. You got a little part here that comes up. Right there's your kind of rear trunk. You got a little bit of storage back here. Not too much room, but you're going to find there's a little toolkit back here. Now we got 2 push points, one on the right and left. You're going to slide forward, flip it over. Right here we're going to find our books, a low tire pressure gauge, because fun fact, these only take about 4.5 psi in them. So it's important you use this when you're putting air in your tires. Down here though, you're going to find your battery, you're going to find your fuse box. Of course your air box is right here, and that's really it under one of these. That's all your electronics. So if you ever want to wire in light bars, accessories, it's pretty accessible. And wiring stuff in, you got a lot of room here. And in that rear trunk too, if you ever have extra harnesses and different things, you can always store stuff back there to keep this more clean and organized. But putting this back together is pretty straightforward. You got 2 tabs that just line up in the back. They slide into, push down. Same thing with your rear trunk, goes back up. It's got this little rubber tab bushing there. You got a larger seat on the Rubicon too than you would on the Foreman. It's a little bit bigger, more of a plush seat. Just like that. We're probably all sick and tired of staring at that. So let's go and drive the Rubicon. Well, I hope you guys all enjoyed that running footage. It is just starting to pour now. I'm sure you probably start to see on the camera the rain coming down pretty quick here. We got a storm rolling in there. So gonna wrap this up real quickly. Handle drove real nice. Something to make note of is the gears are pretty short because it's just so low. Since this doesn't have that low range on it, that first, second, third, the way it's geared is just really grunty. So if you're really gonna work, you know, want a workhorse, this is really great for that. It's definitely not the fastest machine, and that's not what the Rubicon is geared for and produced and made for. You know, that's not the target audience of the Rubicon. So if you were to get one of the upper ones with that drive and that low range, that might get, I think those do give you a little more speed out of them from my experience. Now, I'm not totally sure how true that is or not, but it really did feel pretty low the way this thing is geared. And also, because that rear suspension, it makes the front end feel like it's low, like a lot of the weight's up front on it, even though it's really not, which is very interesting. I think that has to do with the front suspension's a little more plush than the rear's a little more firm. So I think if I dropped those rear tire pressures a little bit, it would even it out and it'd feel a little bit more rounded in terms of the suspension handling. But that's getting really nitty gritty on the Rubicon. And you know, the Rubicon has its own audience, its own purpose, and it really is just a pure workhorse with that independent. You can load a lot of weight on it, but also if you want something that you're gonna trail ride and you want something that's gonna have a little more comfort, that's gonna ride a little better, you know, it also has a bigger seat on it than the Foreman, so it's got its plus sides. But I hope you all did really enjoy this video. I don't mean to rush this and get through this, but I'm trying to get out of the pouring rain here. But yeah, that's gonna do it, guys. You guys all enjoy your Sunday now. So appreciate all the support on the recent uploads and everything. But yeah, that's gonna do it. You guys all have a great day. Bye.